like at first it's really happy and the music is very like plinky plunky and they're like, you go to the movies with your friends or family to see this movie, blah blah blah, POV, and then you're in the lobby buying some popcorn or whatever, and then it says like you fall asleep in the movie, you wake up, everyone's gone, you walk out into the lobby, it's empty, no one's around, the lights are off, now the music gets really eerie. You go to exit a door and it just leads to another like random hallway that wasn't there before. And then you're walking through that. Now you're in the back rooms. And then you walk through another door. Now you're in that Dreamcore world with the houses and the hills.
Right.
And so that was my introduction to it. And I was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Lights, camera, action.
Hello? Hello? Hey guys. What is this?
It was the greatest night in the history of television.
Hey, hi, hello, welcome in and welcome back to
guys.
Redband Podcast. We are your hosts. And today we're talking about a couple things that might make you feel a little fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
It might tickle you just a little bit.
Little.
Feels a little familiar, but also feels very eerie.
Yeah.
We're talking the Backrooms. We're talking Dreamcore.
Yeah.
We're talking Liminal Spaces.
Yep.
Ooh, I love it.
I love it.
If you don't know what any of those are, I'll give you a brief nutshell real quick. Backrooms. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain it in a nutshell. But basically, Backrooms are this game, really. It's a game.
Okay.
And the idea of the game is that you have just no-clipped into this world. Now, what is no-clipping? Mm-hmm. No-clipping is like if you've ever played a video game and you've glitched into an area of the map that you're not supposed to be.
Yeah.
That, like if you're running around and there's buildings and you can't go into the buildings normally, but you accidentally glitched inside of them and now you're inside this building and you're like, well, how did I get here? And it's kind of underdeveloped and whatever. So that's no clipping. So the idea is the Backrooms is a game based on that. You're in a space that's just, it looks eerie because it's not supposed to be there really. It's this weird space. It feels familiar, but it's also a little bit off. So it'll be like an office space, but it just keeps going. There's nobody there. There's no people. There's no life. It's just hallways and lights, and it just never ends. And the more corners you turn, the more there's just more of that. And there's like no way out. So in a nutshell, that's what the Backrooms are. That's the idea behind the game. And you
one
can't
thing
get out.
it said too, right? It said if you hear something in there, bad news.
Yeah.
Bad news.
I mentioned that there was no life.
Well,
and that's true, but there are some creatures.
Well, there should be no life. And if there is, God bless you.
Yeah, exactly. So that is in a nutshell the Backrooms, and it's been trending. It's been hot. It's been hot topic. People like to talk about it and dive into it and either gameplay or theorize about it if it's potentially a real place,
right?
A real space. And then Dreamcore and Liminal Spaces kind of go hand in hand. The idea behind Liminal Spaces, I saw a quote, and I'm paraphrasing that quote. Basically, it is the space between the familiar and the unknown.
Whoa.
Which I think is beautifully put.
Yeah.
And it describes, I think that is going to be the theme for all three of these things that we talk about today. They're familiar, but they're also unknown. And that's what gives us that weird, eerie feeling about them. So it's just to describe like a liminal space might be like a school.
Yeah.
A school-esque setting. Or a mall or a house where you're like, that looks so, I feel like I've been there before.
Like an indoor swimming pool.
Yeah. Yep. An indoor swimming pool.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then there's that thing about it that's off, and we'll deep dive into dissecting that and just feeling it out. So
yeah.
Future me, cue the atmospheric music.
Dun, 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 dun. Well, you're cueing it, so I don't need to do.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'll move.
We can move to it.
We can move.
We'll see if it works with what I put on.
Yeah.
You like that?
I like that.
You feeling eerie yet?
You feeling it?
And for those of you who are listening to the podcast and not watching it, be sure to head over to our Instagram. We'll post some pictures of examples of this. If you are watching on here, we'll put them up on the screen. Let's do it. Let's no clip into this episode of Redband Podcast.
And let's do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, even you saying that, it's like, I don't know, man. It feels a little too real to me, some of this stuff. I don't know.
It's odd.
Yeah.
It's odd. So what is kind of your experience with Backrooms so far, which is not a porno? It sounds like it could be, and I bet you it will be in time.
In due time.
Give it time and they'll turn Backrooms into a porno genre.
It'll be like, like when they do like the Avengers porn. But it'll be like Backrooms.
Yeah.
I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be on there. It'll be on there.
For sure it will.
The Backrooms is the newest one to me out of all these three things. The Backrooms is, well, I take it back. It's just that I didn't know what it was when I came across it.
Yeah.
And I think my first experience with this is TikTok. Actually, my first experience with all these fucking things, I think, is TikTok.
True.
Or was it my own life? Was it the time before my consciousness entered planet Earth? Was it when I was a child and my consciousness was able to transcend through dimensions before I was sculpted by society? Maybe. But as far as I know, my first foray into this was definitely TikTok. And there was these really creative people who were making these TikToks where they were clearly in a Backrooms type situation. And they were doing it in a sense that something is following them.
Yeah.
Something is following them. And it was terrifying. And I've seen some other ones that I feel like are pretty similar to the premise. I feel like I've seen one where someone is like, I've seen a few where people are kind of just like, I hope it's fictionalized. But they're just saying things like, I'm stuck in this universe. Like, it's just me. Like, help me. You guys need to help me get out of here.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And they're in the back rooms. They're in an office setting. But I have no experience with, like, the game. Is it like a video game? Or is that the kind of deal?
Yeah, so, again, TikTok brought me here.
Yes.
TikTok brought me
Shout
here.
outs.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
We have to start, I can see now, this day and age or in the near future, teachers saying, when you're writing an essay, you cannot credit Wikipedia and you cannot credit TikTok. You're not allowed.
And why not? I say credit TikTok. There's some people on TikTok who have taught me some crazy things.
Oh yeah, the people know their shit on there.
Yeah,
some of them. So
anyway,
yeah, I didn't know. I was like, what is this? Is this like a? Because it looks animated, but it's also kind of real. Because they add that really distorted, fuzzy looking feeling to it, which I think really makes you feel like you've seen it somewhere before. It's like very dreamlike.
Yes.
But I didn't know it was a video game at first playable. I guess you can play it on Steam.
Okay.
I looked it up last night, and I haven't played it. Maybe. Redband plays?
Redband plays Backrooms?
Yo.
Dude, I'm so down. But I'm so scared, but I'm so down.
Yeah, me too. I'm terrified. But let us know if you want to see that for sure, because I'm down to do that.
I'm down.
So, I guess it's a game. But people have taken it, and they've made like found footage, backroom kind of things before where they're like recording and they fall through the floor and they land in the backrooms.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. That just made me like uneasy.
Yes. Very uneasy. So to answer your question, yeah, game, but people are taking it beyond now. Okay. It's only a matter of time before we get 1, Backrooms porn, and 2, Backrooms the movie.
What's the Blumhouse like?
Yes.
They just like are shitting out horror movies constantly.
Yeah.
Blumhouse presents The Backrooms.
The Backrooms.
And
Ooh.
the porno.
And if you know the Blumhouse intro where it's like the corner of that house and it's like scary, how cool would it be if they did that intro and then the title just disappears and you're there and the walls like open up and now you're in the Backrooms or something?
Man, this is why we need I get so bugged when we have the best. I don't get bugged, but it's just like we have the best ideas and we don't get paid for them.
Yeah.
Anyways.
They're shitting out horror movies. We're shitting out ideas.
Yeah.
Jordan Peele, contact us.
Yeah, hit us up.
Anyway. So.
Yeah.
Backrooms. There's all these levels, supposedly.
Okay.
There's like tons and tons of levels, and they each get incredibly more and more difficult, as levels do.
Yes, of course.
And I guess there's some that are like deadly. What I've noticed in researching this topic is people do talk about it like it's real life.
Sure.
Like, who talks about a video game level as deadly? It's a video game.
Right.
You know, you might be like, oh yeah, that level's really hard. But I've never heard anyone talk about a level being deadly. Mm-hmm. And that's how people talk about this game, which is weird to me, I think.
Kind of like it's like The Ring, right? Like you don't watch that videotape or you're going to die in 7 days.
Yeah.
Kind of that type of feeling.
Type of vibe, yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. There's like the various creatures. There's the like weird black creature with like the limbs that are inverted, right? Like my elbow bends like this, but its elbow would be like bent the other way. And it makes a very unsettling sound. Have you heard it?
No. Fuck. Are you going to show me it?
Well, I can't because my phone's over there.
Yeah.
You would have to look it up if you...
I will look it up.
If you dare.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Now, this video here is saying what the Backrooms monster is saying if you listen closely. And it's like, wait, don't go.
Oh, really? Ugh. Yeah, we'll put a picture of the Backrooms monster right here with that sound because
yeah,
it's a very unsettling sound.
It's a sound. This has 4.2 million views.
Holy shit.
That's insane.
Why did I bother making a music video? I could have just done that.
You could have made a 56-second clip of what the Backrooms monster sounds like. It would have had millions and millions of views.
That's the secret code, man.
I guess.
Guess so. So the Backrooms, it feels familiar, doesn't it?
Yes.
When you look at it.
For sure. It feels like it's a past life.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a dream that I've had in my childhood, maybe, that I can't recall, but I have had that dream. It feels like deja vu. Mm-hmm. It feels like the first time you have deja vu. And this is kind of, well, there's a different feeling. I would also subscribe to the other things we're going to talk about, but definitely for starters, that's what the Backrooms definitely feels like. And so does the other things, but the other things also have some other elements too, I feel.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they I think they feel familiar because they're common spaces for the most part. And they just feel like, I don't know what it is. It's an untangible thought. It's an untangible feeling of like why you feel like you've been there before, or I don't know what it is. It's like partially childhood mixed with dreams. That's really, I mean, that's kind of where the Dreamcore part of it comes in. Is it feels dreamlike. And I know a lot of people, if you look at the comments for this, they're like, oh, I've dreamt this place before. Yeah. I've been here in my dreams, or I've seen this in my dreams, which is wild.
So what it brings up to me is like, some of the theories of Carl Jung, the psychologist. Have you heard of Carl Jung?
I've heard of him. That also used to be your TikTok name, wasn't it?
That was, but it was like Carl Jung.
Yes.
Like young Nino. Young Nino, like Tyga said young Nino.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Yeah, that's where I took that name from.
I love it.
Swedish psychologist Carl Jung.
Okay.
Now, this gentleman, okay, so you know what the hero's journey is.
Absolutely.
That was Joseph Campbell.
Yes.
And Joseph Campbell was a student, I believe a student, if not a devotee of Carl Jung. That's where he derived pretty much most of his ideas and shit. And there's that idea, you know, of the collective unconscious.
Yeah.
The collective unconscious and the collective conscious, right? The idea that it's not, I mean, yes, our consciousness are two separate things, but also we share almost like this evolutionary collective conscious and collective unconscious. Yeah. Right? Where we all are familiar with certain things. There's a reason that, and that kind of ties into why we respond a certain way to certain storytelling formats, tropes, ideas, dramatic scenarios, why we all expect a certain outcome from a certain story or type of story or dramatic situation.
Yes.
Right? Because evolutionarily, as a species, these symbols, archetypes, stories, yada, 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 hero's journey, right? That was the whole thing of Joseph Campbell. That's the whole thing of realizing that all the stories follow the same format, and people didn't come together and talk about that. They didn't say, hey, let's all follow this, use this same formula to write stories. This happened in a lot of different places in a lot of different ways, all the way back to Gilgamesh.
Oh, Gilgamesh.
Remember young Gilgamesh?
Oh, yeah, man. Well, we were in the same AP English class, so we had to read that and the Canterbury Tales.
Yes.
Blow my brain. Dude, send me to the Backrooms with that shit.
And I could be there with that.
Yeah.
The Backrooms, little Canterbury Tales.
Yeah.
Shout out to Miss McDukes.
Miss McDukes.
So I get a sense that there's something similar happening with these things. These are symbols and environments that are seeming to be collectively familiar to all of us for maybe a reason I don't know, I can't explain, but anyways, that's what comes to mind.
Yes.
For me.
And now more than ever, with the internet, with TikTok, with all of social media, we're able to share thoughts instantly, widespread. Yes. And because of that, we're finding we have a lot more in common than we ever thought before. Yes. With each other in the way that we think, in the experiences we've had. You know what I mean? Something from, why do these rooms seem so familiar, all the way to like, oh, as soon as someone leaves, I'm dancing around the house and talking to myself naked or whatever, right? Like whatever the experience is.
Either one of those things.
And we're finding that we share a lot more than we thought. So yeah, again, you're hitting on that, and I'm glad that you brought that up because in my research it came down to that too. It was like this collective consciousness idea, and the prehistoric, I don't know what you would call it. Is that the right word? It's not prehistoric, but it's like just it's embedded, like that kind of stuff is embedded. It is hardwired. We have very old brains, archaic brains.
Yes.
And so evolutionarily, we function still like saber-toothed tigers are a threat.
Yes.
Which is why social anxiety exists and that kind of stuff. We go all the way into it. But if you saw something that was a little off to you back in the day, most definitely meant death.
Yeah.
So you're very weary of it, and we still operate that way. Gut feelings and all that kind of stuff. And so I feel like that all goes hand in hand, which is like why they say like, oh, we're not really scared of the dark. We're scared because we don't know what's in the dark, right?
Oh.
And the unknown could potentially mean death.
Yes.
And all of that plays into this because I feel like, again, like I said earlier, these things all play in that space between familiar and the unknown.
Right.
And
right.
Yeah, and that is why I feel like it gives us that weird feeling. Like I can't help but watch it. I will sit there and watch it. I can't turn away.
Yeah.
But I also feel on edge.
And I everything you're saying, especially like pertaining to the Backrooms, is kind of making me think like, yeah, like our brains, and then it's like we associate an office building with having office things.
Yeah.
You know, like cubicles, printers, water coolers.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, people,
yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, it's like this like our minds, like we see this space and it's like the fact that it's bare bones, it's like, yeah, like it's like it hits our midbrain, like it hits our like amygdala, or like I don't remember which one's fight, flight, or freeze, but I think that's in the amygdala, right? It's like it hits you in the amygdala a little bit, gets you going, hey, whoa, what's this all about? Why is this? I know this, but it doesn't have the things that are usually here.
So I'm very glad that you started dabbling. You started dipping your toe in the water of what I want to get into when it comes to like Dreamcore and Liminal Spaces.
Yes.
You mentioned the office space. We're used to it having office things.
Yes.
So there's this word, there's a feeling, and there's a word for it called, I don't know how to say it, canopsia.
Ooh.
Canopsia. It's Kenopsia.
Okay.
And that is the word that basically describes that eerie feeling when you see a space that is normally busy and bustling with life and is now devoid of all of it. So, for example, if you've ever seen a school after hours,
Yep.
if you've seen just like an empty mall,
Yes.
an abandoned amusement park, an empty indoor swimming pool, right? These places where we're used to there being lights on everywhere, and there's someone around every corner. There's equipment, there's people, there's life, and now there's none of it. Lights are off. It's dark. It's eerie, and that feeling you get when you see those spaces. I feel like that encompasses all of this.
Yes,
it's a little bit of that.
Yes.
It's a little bit of this is familiar and now it's unknown. And I'm going to we'll throw some images up here of like liminal spaces examples, but you mentioned earlier indoor swimming pools.
Yeah.
There seems to be a lot of that. I've noticed a lot of them incorporate water somehow. There's always like a weird bluish tinge to it.
Yes.
And the thing about all these pictures too that I've noticed is there's a lot of shading in weird parts of the picture, which I think makes it feel off because they're not completely dark. There's light, but the areas where there are dark is what makes you feel iffy.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that, and I love that as a filmmaker. I'm sure the lighting and the shadows really caught you. And so immediately it sounds like you were like, hey, this is not how it usually goes.
Yes.
Love that.
Which makes you feel like you shouldn't be here. Nobody who operates this space is here. You shouldn't be here. And so it feels weird. And
then it's almost like no one's ever been here. How did it even get made?
Exactly.
Because no life has ever stepped foot in this place.
No. So, yeah, what do you think? What's been your experience with Dreamcore or Liminal Spaces?
So, my experience has been, it legitimately feels like, okay, liminal spaces feel like dreams I've had. I see those things and I say, I feel like I've been there. Dreamcore feels also like that, obviously dreams, but it also feels like it feels like the way I used to see the world. I was joking about that thing, like, oh, before I was corrupted by society or whatever. Yeah. But it's kind of true. It's like the way that I saw the world before my consciousness like truly formed, in a sense that like when you're born, and it's like, it's that spiritual weird idea where it's like when you're born and you're like 1 or you're like 2 years old, you don't really know shit about fuck. But like, you know, it's like that thing where it's like you're still like pretty much your brain's still like tripping from fucking DMT practically just by like coming out of the womb, you know? It's like your brain is still like tripping balls, or you're still so close to the whatever came before life. Like you're still kind of like in the in-between, right? Before you're fully in this world almost. Dreamcore feels like that to me.
You describing that reminds me of like the dream wake space.
Yeah.
That time when you're not fully awake, but you're not fully asleep. You're starting to wake up, but you're in that weird dream wake state.
Yes.
Where a lot of interesting things can happen.
Absolutely. And I don't know, like, do you have any memories from like really young? I'm talking like really fucking young.
It's hard to say. I have one, and I don't know why it sticks out to me so much, but it's, I don't know how young I was, but I was in a high chair. Mm-hmm. So somewhat young, eating. And like, I think I dropped some food like on the floor.
Yeah.
And then I remember my grandpa at the time giving me the absolute death glare, which I had never seen before in my few years on the earth.
Jeez.
And it was like the dirtiest laser beam death glare that you could get. And maybe that's why I remember it, because I was like, whoa, that's something bad just happened, I guess.
Yeah. You're like, that's danger.
Yeah.
Like that's fight, flight, or freeze right there. Grandpa. Yeah. I have this one that, and this is what connects me to my Dreamcore. Well, I don't know, bro. There's some shit from my childhood where I'm just like, is that even real?
Right.
I've never even said this out loud before, but I have this weird memory of like driving with my parents on some like New Mexican back roads, and I swear to God, off in the distance, I saw like colossal, like, I mean, not colossal like Godzilla, but just like these big things walking.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know if that was real or if that was a dream. I don't know. I've literally never said this out loud, like to anybody.
Redband exclusive.
Asked my mom if this is real. I swear to God, though, it's like we're on a road trip, New Mexico back roads, and I'm like, there's like on the horizon, there's like these not human things, pretty big, walking around. So that's weird. And then I have this this memory from childhood that's not like supernatural or anything, but I just remember like waking up and like, I guess I don't remember where we lived. I don't remember when or what time. But I believe like our curtains were probably like red, right? And so like when the sun hit the window, it like just made the room like really red, and it was like a morning sunrise, and the room was, and like when I like remember that memory, like it feels like a mushroom trip in the golden hour. But I was just like a kid. I must have been 2, you know. That's what Dreamcore feels like to me. I don't know how else to explain it. That's that's what it feels like.
Yeah, and when you look up like Dreamcore, Liminal Spaces, what often comes up is this picture of these like houses in these hilly grass fields.
Yes.
And so what I thought of immediately when I first saw those was like, oh, this looks like when you go to get an eye test. At the eye doctor, if you've ever had that done, where they like it like goes blurry and then it shakes and it goes in focus. I don't know what it is that they're testing for.
Right.
But that's exactly what it is it's like a weird, just a blue sky, grass, and there's one little house sitting in the center of it. It has that weird look to it that they give on this picture. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why that felt familiar to me when I saw it.
For sure.
Yeah, and it also feels kind of like that Microsoft background.
Right.
You know the one I'm talking about?
Oh.
The Windows Microsoft grassy field.
You know the one.
You know the one.
I'll also tell you what Dreamcore feels like to me. This is where it gets weird for me. Dreamcore also feels like something horrific. It feels like an MK Ultra program where children are being programmed to do assassinations or something. You know, it feels like where they keep 11 in Stranger Things and they do tests on her and give her powers. That's what Dreamcore feels like to me too. Mm-hmm. It feels like something god awful. I mean, it feels like something that it feels like a place that you would go to while something traumatic is happening to you as a child. Mm-hmm. You know, it feels like an escape from a horrific situation that your mind is constructing just so you can avoid the pure trauma and pain of what's happening to you. I don't know. That's my other feeling.
You're right. Like, imagine what if all these spaces, like, what if this stuff's being put out now?
Yeah.
Because we're all like winter soldiers.
Ooh.
You know, and how they say like all those activation words to him.
Yeah.
And then he activates and becomes the Winter Soldier. What if all these are like our cue cards and they're being projected out into the world now? And like when we see them in the right sequence, we're activated. And that's why they feel so familiar. Because like, damn, we've seen them before. We've been programmed with them. Now that I've never heard anyone talk about with this.
That was my last cue word. I'm awake. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's true though. You're right. I mean,
wouldn't that be wild?
So there is, and you bring up some interesting points about some of these things where there is. It's every single element's important.
Mm-hmm.
Every light, every shadow, and of course the color. And so these yellows and these greens.
Yep.
Seem to be super prominent. They're and the like the fluorescentness of the light, and like in some of those other ones where it's like there's not enough light in some of them.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
I was mentioning that a lot of these pictures have the similar elements. So for some reason, a lot of water is typically involved.
Yeah.
In the Dreamcore liminal space. The walls are always like full tile squares to the ceiling.
Yep.
There's the off-putting shadows in areas that just make you feel uneasy and on edge. And then there's also like little to no windows.
Yep. That's another element. You're right.
That's why you feel like you're enclosed. Look at this picture. Where's the outside? Where's the doors? There's no doors. There's no windows. There's no exits. There's no entries.
Yes.
Which makes it feel like a dream because you're like, I don't know how I got here and I don't know how to get out. Then you have, like you said, the yellow. Yeah. There's like a tinge of blue or green. All of those combined to make it just very unsettling.
I'm sure we've all had a lot of weird dreams in our life. So just recently I had one that wasn't this, but it was kind of a different version of this. Maybe I need to make this liminal space a thing. Like, yeah, it was a weird dream where I was in these underground tunnels, but they connected houses. But they were kind of like ruins. They were kind of like imagine if we were in a house and like we went to the stairs, and when you look down the stairs, there was the underground tunnel. And it was like dirt. Like it was kind of like the catacombs in fucking France.
Okay.
But walking through the catacombs and you look up and it's like the insides of different people's houses. Like there's connected, and it was almost like the construction was never finished.
Weird.
So that was weird.
Yeah.
That was the other night I had that one.
I have a very, very vivid memory when I was young, and it was the middle of the night, and in my closet, like my bed was like this, so I'm facing the closet doors.
Yeah.
And it sounded like someone was in the closet, like eating what I described a very crunchy sandwich. Like it was just like,
Ooh.
and I could hear that, and my eyes were awake, but I couldn't move.
Okay.
Sleep paralysis.
Right.
And I tried to call out to my mom and dad, and like I couldn't. It was like a whisper, like it had me by the vocal cords.
Yeah.
But I was awake, and I knew I was awake.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a moment where my dream and my reality were just blended together. I was awake but dreaming. It was weird, and that was from a young age.
Right.
And so, yeah, I feel that we should have a dreams episode.
I think
we
we
talk about
should.
dreams, because we could go all over the place with it.
I don't know. Do you have any reoccurring things in dreams? For me, giant waves. I'm talking colossal. I'm talking like interstellar. I'm talking like day after tomorrow type waves.
Bro, we're the same person.
Holy
I was
fuck.
literally about to say that.
What?
I have reoccurring dreams of water, but disastrous water,
Yeah.
like flooding the earth water. And I have those. That's a reoccurring dream I've had throughout all my life. Yeah.
I'm so fucked in the fucking fuck right now.
I've never been so comforted and uncomforted at the same time.
Yeah.
That's terrifying and comforting to know that someone else out there is sharing that.
Right.
What if we were in the same dream? That'd be so
Oh.
cool. We just didn't know it. We're swimming by each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's awful. I hate that. And that's for sure a reoccurring dream.
Okay. Well, so it's like, and it's this other thing I came across on TikTok where there are some accounts, and it's similar accounts that, there's one account who posts about some stuff, and she'll be like, places where you've probably been in your dreams. By the way, a mall is one of them. And by the way, I've had plenty of mall dreams, but they're typically busy. They're not empty. They're like active.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had a mall dream.
And I've had them, and it's like the picture she posted blew my mind because it is very similar to some that I've had where it's like a there's like 5 levels to the mall, and just like these, escalators that are not like abnormal, but just like that they're just kind of going up,
Weird.
It's
like an FAO Schwartz.
Yeah.
The giant toy store in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Just levels and levels of toy store.
There's levels to this shit.
There is levels and layers.
So there's that, and I think she talks about, it's kind of similar to the liminal spaces. Like, she's kind of posting those types of pictures, and she's like, you've probably been here in your dreams.
I'm gonna have to watch that video.
Yeah.
Or some of those, because those freak you out a little bit. And I've been thinking this whole time, like, this is a picture right here. If you're watching on YouTube, this is a picture on my screen of the Backrooms.
Yeah.
It's an image. It's a still image. How awful would it be if while we're talking, a little creature starts peeking around? I've just been thinking that this whole time. Out of your peripheral, you just see one like peeking out.
Oh my God. I don't know what I probably wouldn't be able to leave my house ever again.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the end of Redband, because I'd be on my bed.
Redband would just be Zoom calls.
Yeah,
going forward
from my back room where I'm just I'm still here. I can't leave.
Yeah.
That would be the scariest thing of all time.
Yeah, I don't like it.
I don't like
And
that.
now my peripherals are just on lock. I'm like, where is it?
Yeah.
Where are you? Show yourself. Or don't show yourself, please.
All right, I'm going to say something crazy now.
Okay.
That I have never told you, but I went home and I told Ashley. And this is going to weird you out.
All right.
One time we were recording the podcast.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I felt someone walk in right there.
Whoa. You felt them?
I feel like I felt it, and I feel like it, out of the corner of my eye, I caught it. It was while we were recording once.
Yeah. Do you know what episode?
I don't, bro.
Was it before we started video? I'm assuming.
It might have been before we started video.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have been, but if it wasn't, there might be a way to catch me being like for a quick second and then like snapping back. So that really, I remember I went home and I told Ashley.
Yeah.
And that was odd. And then recently we went to this little like metaphysical fair and I got my cards read.
Yeah.
And the lady said that there's a chance that I might have like some mediumship ability.
I like that.
I didn't put too much stock into it, but the fact that I feel like I felt something walk in here one time while we were recording, that was odd. I'm being very vulnerable right now.
I like this.
I'm opening up about some weird shit.
I mean, depending on what we were talking about, it could have been an astral projection CIA agent being like, hey. Hold on, guys.
Hey, whoa.
Enough of that candy corn stuff that you're talking about. Candy corn is not a money laundering thing. What do you think about the stories supposedly from people who say they've actually visited these places? Because they're out there, typically like Reddit and stuff.
Yeah.
They could just be fan fiction.
Sure.
But do you think it's possible that this is actually a space you could no-clip into?
Yes. I do.
Especially if you go the route of like, we're in a simulation.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't glitch into a space like this. That podcast I was listening to, there was this person who had a story about they were in a car or something driving. Mm-hmm. They had gone out of town and their parents or whatever were asking like, how long until they get home? They were like, oh, we're about 25 minutes out. And it was nighttime. And then all of a sudden, all the lights in the car were shut off. The headlights shut off. And it was just like the moonlight bouncing off of the lake or whatever. And they were going like through this mountain area. And then it came back on. And there was like a car and maybe a cop car or something off to the side that wasn't there before. And whatever they were driving.
Sure.
And the clock on the car was now an hour ahead of what they had previously seen. And they're like, oh, maybe, the car malfunctioned and just reset the clock, whatever.
Right.
And 25 minutes passed. They got home and they realized they were an hour later than what they had thought.
Whoa.
So they are missing an entire hour of their life.
Right.
Seemingly in an instant.
Right.
And if that's true, occurrences like that, I'm sure happen. There's plenty of stories of stuff like that happening, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking of Reddit, have you ever read posts on the Reddit page Glitch in the Matrix?
No.
Okay.
I haven't.
That might be its own episode.
That probably should be.
I think it should be its own episode.
Yeah.
Because, some of those stories are insane.
Yeah.
Like, and if they're fiction, they're great fiction.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard for me to just say, like, because sometimes you hear from people who are just like, what do they have to gain from lying about this? Unless they're super just compulsive, attention-seeking liars, which a lot of people are.
For sure.
But at the same time, it's like you can fill someone out, right? And not everyone is Leonardo DiCaprio, the greatest actor. You know what I mean? Like, not everyone could just manifest like acting as if they're telling the truth when they're lying. Like, some people are you hear their stories and they're just like, look, believe me or don't believe me, but this is what happened.
Yeah.
And you're just like, hey, I don't know.
Exactly. So, especially more and more nowadays, we're finding that anything's possible.
Right.
Anything. So yeah, why not?
Why the fuck?
Why not? Why couldn't this exist and why couldn't someone get stuck there? That would be a horrible, awful nightmare to occur. But why not?
And it's just that, and this will probably freak out. Okay, so I don't want to keep I'm putting her on blast. Okay, so there's a few things I want to bring up. There's a woman who built a house in Los Angeles, and she specifically made the architecture super abstract because she said she wanted to confuse the spirits in her house. So there were doors that led to nowhere. There were stairs that led to walls. There was, things like, it was just crazy. And I know Ashley's been having some dreams about living in houses where the architecture is super bizarre.
Yeah.
And things leading to places that make no sense.
Yeah.
And another thing that comes to mind is like this astral projection thing. So, there's people who say like that they are capable of astral projecting into different dimensions. And this is the only thing I'll say about this that is a reality. Is doing the drug DMT.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so this is something that's concrete, that we have no proof of people go other places when they're under this drug. But I mean, and I don't know, I've read stories about like, obviously, like people doing DMT, their consciousness is somewhere else, and you can't fuck with their body because their body's still in here. And if you like woke up their like body, they might like go crazy and start trashing shit because their consciousness is like not in their body.
Yeah.
And that's an example too of like, you're it's just it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
It's a lot to unpack.
There's so much to unpack.
I
guess
ton.
we gotta have I think we need to have a part 2.
I think so.
With Glitch in the Matrix.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And dreams.
Fuck. All these kind of go hand in hand, I feel like.
I think so. And I think it's like you said, like we're becoming a little more open-minded to where obviously this is touching a nerve on a lot of us. This is hitting something with us.
It's striking a chord, and for a reason.
Yes.
It has to. And it could be a combination of all those things that we've talked about.
Sure.
And different elements of them. But this... Yeah, this is unsettling. This is like a fever dream. Awful. Look at that.
If I'm there ever, I mean, I don't know what I'll do.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'll do.
I guess, I don't know. I guess we'll leave it there for now.
Yeah, for now. I think coming back with a round 2.
And us actually playing Backrooms.
Yeah, we got to do that.
I think I'm not even going to wait for the people to say that they want it, because I want it.
No, let's just do it.
I think we should just do it.
Oh.
And put it out.
God,
and we'll do it at night. Make it real dark.
Yes.
That's the best way to do it.
I think we need to do that.
Yeah.
We should. Oh, I'm scared. Okay.
Me too.
All right. We're going to do it.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
We're going to do it.
We'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Well, thank you all for joining us and no clipping with us into this episode. We made it out.
Yes.
We made it out. Or did we? I don't know.
That's what's crazy is I can't, there's nothing that is concrete evidence that outside of that door, behind that closet, and outside of that window is reality.
Yeah, no.
I'll leave it there.
We'll definitely leave it there. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Tell us what you think about the Backrooms. If you've been to the Backrooms or you've played the Backrooms, we want to hear about it.
Definitely.
We want to hear your experiences, your thoughts on the Backrooms, on Dreamcore, on Liminal Spaces. Do you have any theories? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah.
Please tell us. And as long as you don't slip into this realm between now and our next episode, we will see you here next time. See ya.